just like that, we got a whole bunch of documents to look at. So, wow. Okay. So just yesterday, was it yesterday? Man. Yeah, I think just yesterday it was announced. Oh my God, girl, no. It was announced that Jay-Z was the celebrity A in the one of the Jane Doe lawsuits that was filed by Busby, and a bunch of stuff has transpired since. And I just went to casually check the docket, and okay, a lot of stuff has been filed. So last night I did go live to read the document that was the complaint, but there have been the amended complaint. But like I said, there have been some things that have happened. Okay, so here's the PACER page for the lawsuit. And as you can see here, it has been amended to add Sean Carter. So this is the docket. I'm just scrolling down, and this right here, document 29, this is what was like breaking or whatever last night. Okay. Document 29, first amended complaint. But look at all this other stuff. We have filing errors. We have another motion, declaration of Busby, first memorandum of law, proposed order, notice of appearance. Then we have stuff started to get filed by Jay-Z at document 37, motion to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously, his memorandum of law. And like the fact that he had all of this stuff ready within basically a day, it indicates to me that he was kind of sitting on this stuff, like kind of sitting on go, as it were. And you know who his lawyer is. It doesn't come as a surprise to me because this person has represented Jay-Z in other lawsuits before, including, if my memory serves me correct, a lawsuit with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay. Like I said, if my memory serves me correct, this is live. I'm not like, looking at the stuff right now, but okay. So then there was also, so this indicates to me they kind of had this stuff ready to go. And look, the stuff that they put as attachments is like the complaint that previously was anonymously filed, but now it's, pretty clear that it's Jay-Z. Oh my God, my hair is stressing me out. Okay. Also, they put in here as an exhibit Jay-Z and his lawyer, Alex Spiro. He's the one who represented. Also, Alex Spiro not only represented Jay-Z before, he also represented Alec Baldwin in the Rust trial. And some of y'all were out here calling this man Zaddy and every other thing else. And now look at you. He's representing Jay-Z. That's why you can't take those strong stances sometimes, Who knew? And maybe Jay-Z's innocent. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Jay-Z is innocent. Okay, anyway. Okay, so I thought, and then Jay-Z has already filed an amended motion. You see, all of this was just filed within the last day. Okay, so I thought like what we would do and what we could do just to give everyone, y'all are putting 2s. Y'all are funny, putting 2s in the chat. Okay, thanks so much for the $1.99 super chat, Nicole. Love you, mean it. Okay, so actually the first document I want to start with is this one. And it's from November 6th. So this is from like a month ago. And it's the judge's order provisionally allowing the Jane Doe plaintiff to proceed. I guess I don't even have to show y'all that, actually. I can just tell y'all. This document right here, document number 28, right here, see this order? At that time, on November 6th, 2024, so like a month ago, the judge had granted provisionally, kind of like sort of temporarily, the request of the plaintiff to proceed as Jane Doe, right? This issue keeps coming up over and over again about the Jane Doe stuff, right? So The judge said, there was all kinds of stuff. We're not going to read it right here today just because I'm trying to give y'all the news of what just broke. So just to give you the sweeping context of what you need to know before you can understand, probably, if some of y'all would be able to, but you know what I mean, just giving you the groundwork. Thank you, Nicole, for the $9.99 super chat. Okay. So the judge did grant, the judge did grant at document number 28, the temporary provisional motion to allow this plaintiff to come forward as Jane Doe for now. But in that judge's order at document number 28, the judge did say this is provisional and the defendants deserve and have the right to be heard on this issue. So within 30 days of the issuance of this order, they can file. So they had 30 days to file. They had 30 days to file. Now, what I would like to know is, see, because at that time, we did not know that it was Jay-Z. It was only just yesterday or whatever, 2 days ago, that Jay-Z was actually named. So anyway, okay. So then at yesterday, or today, yes. Oh my God, this is going so fast. Today is Monday, December 9th. Okay. Look, yesterday, December 8th, the first amended complaint was filed, and that was against everybody. But the amendment was pretty much naming, what's his name? Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Okay. So then the next document number is 30. That's just like, somebody had filed a document 2 times. So they took it off and it was just like, duplicate. It looks like a similar issue happened at document 31. There was like a filing error, like some type of sort of requirement on the documents wasn't in there. Some type of technicality, probably some type of, let's see if we can see it from reading here. It's not obvious. It's not obvious on its face, so I don't really know. I mean, I could click it, but I don't think it's necessary right now for the breaking news purposes. Okay. So then we have also yesterday, the plaintiff, the Jane Doe in this case, also yesterday, the same day she amended her complaint, which was yesterday, to add Jay-Z, she also filed a motion to Okay, so she also amended her motion to appear anonymously. Remember, we just talked about it. She was already granted this motion to appear anonymously already, but it was provisional. It was that, giving Jay-Z and Diddy and all of them some time to file, excuse me, some time to file their responses. So then you get, I guess we can look at that actually. So let's just take a look at that document 32. This was filed yesterday, but I didn't see it when I went in there to see. Or maybe I did. I don't know. It's all a blur. I feel like I was live for hours yesterday. Okay, so here is that document, 32. Please take notice that on a date and time to be set by the court, Plaintiff Jane Doe, through her attorneys at the Busby law firm, shall move for an entry of an order granting her motion to proceed. And okay, so this is just giving notice. Okay, see the document title, it's notice. Just Busby giving notice that he's going to file another motion to continue proceeding anonymously. Okay. The next document filed was also by Busby, and this is a declaration. Couldn't be opened. Oh, good. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this back up so y'all can see it. Okay. Where are we? Document 33. Okay, I'm going to have to buy it again because it won't open from my thing. Okay, so this is just 2 pages long. This is a declaration from Busby, filed also yesterday. And he's like saying, This is supposedly in support of the motion for his client, who's the plaintiff, to proceed anonymously, meaning she wants to keep going forward as Jane Doe. She does not want to give her name. Now, remember, this, excuse me, this Jane Doe claims to have been 13 years old. Okay. And I predict, this is a prediction, I predict that that will be considered. We're going to hear a lot of arguments over the next probably years, if we keep up with it like that, with people, you know, should they be anonymous? Should they be Jane Doe? Should they not? And there's going to be a lot of different considerations. I think that the fact that this particular plaintiff purports that she was 13 years old at the time of the alleged incident, that is going to weigh heavily in the judge's opinion, I think. Okay. So this is the declaration of Tony Busby. He's the owner of the law firm. He makes the declaration in support of his client. If required by the court, he will disclose the name of the plaintiff to the counsel for defendants. Now, this is really interesting. The way sentence number 3 is written, it is written as if even like maybe Diddy and possibly or Jay-Z themselves like don't even know what's actually who's actually suing them, right? Like, look, Busby says, if required by the court, I will disclose the plaintiff's name to the lawyer for defendants. I guess maybe that means Jay-Z, but like, I think he's already required to, like tell the, you have to tell the person who's suing. How are you going to, I don't know. It's confusing to me because the way they're writing it is like Jay-Z and Diddy don't even know who's suing them. Anyway, okay, number 4, plaintiff Jane Doe was a minor, aged 13 at the time of the incident. Number 5, plaintiff is by no means the only, he doesn't say alleged, but I'll say it. You know, I'm not trying to get sued by Jay-Z. Alleged victim. She's by no means the only alleged victim of Diddy to fear, violence, and retribution for coming forward. Busby is saying like 80%, more than 80% of his own clients have stated directly to him or to attorneys at his firm during their intake process. So more than 80% of the people that come to Busby's firm looking for representation and doing the intake process, they say that Diddy made threats of violence against them or against their family members. If the clients disclose to anyone the facts of the S assaults, okay, so he's saying like, okay, and remember, he was saying he was representing like over 120 or 150 or something victims, alleged victims, and over 80% of them, likely in excess of 80. I mean, that's interesting. Okay, so that was document number 33. It was the declaration of Tony Busby. And that was him saying, look, I can attest that I've heard other people say that they're scared of him. And that seems to be like, 100 people or something. Okay. Document number 34 would be the next one that was filed. And this one is the memo. Okay. This one is a 10-page memo, also filed yesterday. We will not read, we will not read it word for word, but I do want to give y'all the gist of what it is saying. Okay, this one is filed by plaintiff. This one's filed by the Jane Doe, meaning Busby. Memorandum of law in support of the plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously. Okay, so still it's the arguing over the issue of whether or not this Jane Doe plaintiff can proceed really anonymously publicly, because Tony Busby has already said, if the court requires it, I will, disclose the client's name to, the attorney. So I think this is really just like the public, like whether it remains under seal. Okay. Plaintiff Jane Doe. So remember, it is Busby writing this article. This lawsuit involves claims arising from defendants. Oh, also, this is a sponsored video. This is a sponsored video. Today, we extended the merch. Okay, so you can go to ThatSurpriseWitness.com after this and get you some merch. This is the last day though. I mean, there'll probably be some leftovers because you got to order minimums and stuff, but whatever's left, anyway. Okay. So I meant to do that earlier. I forgot. Okay. The lawsuit involves claims arising from defendant. Okay. So this is the preliminary statement. These claims are arising from Diddy and Jay-Z's S.A. and R word. Y'all, my video I did last night already got yellow dollar signs, so I'm trying. Because the thing is, it sucks to lose money or whatever, but the more important issue is then your video gets kind of pushed down and people don't see what you're trying to put out there. And that's very frustrating. Okay. So in her first amended complaint, the plaintiff alleged, so the document that we read last night on live, the plaintiff alleges that she was put on the substances and then assaulted and R-word by Combs and Carter. So Diddy and Jay-Z. At a party following the VMAs. This would have been back in the year 2000. Plaintiff was a minor at the time of the occurrence, just 13 years old. Again, these are allegations until proven, but these are the allegations we are reading on the court document. Because of the egregious nature of what happened, plaintiff filed this lawsuit under the pseudonym of Jane Doe. There's no prejudice to Diddy or Jay-Z or any other defendant if plaintiff is allowed to go forward as Jane Doe. And then again, Tony Busby reiterates, if required by this court, counsel, so the lawyer, Busby, for plaintiff, will confidently disclose her name to the lawyer for Diddy and also for Jay-Z. As set forth in the complaint, Diddy has a history of violent and aggressive behavior and has been the subject of numerous civil complaints. Currently, he is in jail, quote, awaiting criminal trial on charges of ST and racketeering, among other things. He and the people within his organizations are dangerous, end quote. It is well settled. Okay. So the first thing that Busby says here is that this Jane Doe should be allowed to go on and proceed anonymously for many reasons, right? No, we're going to be on another table over here. Okay. There's many of them. There's many reasons supporting this argument. One reason is because of the quote, sensitive and personal nature of the allegations. Okay, so that's one aspect of their argument. They're arguing in here, Busby and them. They're saying that the fact that this, person was so young, so vulnerable, and she could even still be now hurt today. It's one of the factors weighing in favor of letting her go forward as a Jane Doe. Another factor here is that this litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and personal, right? So that's one thing they're basing their arguments on. This is Busby. Given this confluence of events, the media attention of this action would undoubtedly create a chilling effect on future plaintiffs. So this is another aspect that they are basing their argument on, that there would be a chilling effect on, future people wanting to come forward because, then they would have to put their names out, which maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. We'll have to see if that is reason, that the judge considers important. The next reason that Busby gives for allowing this Jane Doe plaintiff to go forward as Jane Doe, right? Because we already got a argument in the books. We're going to open it up here. We're going to get to as many documents as we can get to today. There's many, but this one right now, the one we're looking at is document 34. And this is the arguments that Busby is making in favor of the plaintiff to go forward as a Jane Doe. Because what's going to happen is we're going to open another document today that's going to have been filed by Jay-Z, which is already filed, and his lawyer, Alex Spiro, whatever. Now they're arguing in the opposite direction. Jay-Z saying, hell no, absolutely not. No, she's got to come forward with her real name. Reason. I haven't read the document. We're going to read it, in turn. But here we are on page 5 of the Busby declaration, memo. There's a memo in support of allowing her to go forward as Jane Doe anonymously. Plaintiff's identification poses a risk of retaliation and physical or mental harm. Okay, so this is a strong argument, I think, because this is what the government is relying on in keeping Diddy in jail. So not let him get bail. Defendant Combs, that's Diddy, and other defendants will not be prejudiced by allowing the plaintiff to pursue her claims. Now, I have a feeling Jay-Z and Diddy and them are going to argue in the contrary on this one. They're saying that Diddy and Jay-Z are not going to be prejudiced at all by this plaintiff moving forward as a Jane Doe. Now, sitting here right now, I can't think of any reasons how they would be, but I'm sure they're going to come up with some. We're going to see. This is, I think, a strong argument Busby makes on the behalf of the plaintiff. He says plaintiff was anonymous to Combs before, during, and after the alleged assault incident described in the complaint. And Diddy, quote, through his violent behavior and then threats of violence after the event, himself created the very conditions that now drive plaintiff to need to proceed anonymously in this action, end quote. So I think it's a compelling argument. We'll see if the judge agrees. But I mean, he didn't know who she was when he allegedly assaulted her. I wasn't there. Another argument that the plaintiff makes in wanting to, basing her arguments on wanting to move forward as Jane Doe and not give her true name and her true identity is any arguments relating to Diddy and Jay-Z needing her name, they can be addressed later. We don't have to end this issue once and for all right now, Your Honor. They're basically saying we don't have to end this once and for all right now. Just for now, let's just, they don't need to file all they're going to do next is file a motion to dismiss or an answer. And they don't need to know who she is to file that. And I would probably disagree if I was the person in the position to be filing this stuff. I'll probably be like, yeah, I need to know who it is so that I can know what their possible motive might be if I'm trying to file my motion to dismiss, for example. But I don't know. We'll see what they argue. Another argument that Busby makes on the behalf of the plaintiff is that the public will not be prejudiced if the plaintiff moves forward as Jane Doe. So that's up, I guess to the judge to decide. But I do think the public has a very strong interest in knowing who is using our systems and for what. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think that this particular Jane Doe should be able to move forward anonymously. I think maybe she should. I don't know. I need to see more filings or whatever. But I don't know. Like, the public definitely does have an interest in knowing who's using our systems, why, for what reason. So then they cite some case law, and then allowing plaintiff to proceed anonymously furthers public interest. And I do think that Busby makes a pretty strong point here. He says the public actually has an interest in making sure that alleged victims are able to seek justice and not be harassed or ridiculed or, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So I think that's a strong argument. Okay. So I think the strongest aspect of the argument that Busby makes in document number 34 is that he says, we can leave this issue open and we can always address it later. No reason to have to address it right now. Okay, the next document is not very substantive. It's just the form. You know how whenever one side proposes that the judge make an order on something, then that one side is usually given the, seat work task of typing up the order, what it would look like, so that the judge can sign it. So this is that document. It's the proposed order, document number 35. That's it. So let's move on to the next document. Let's see if we're on. Yeah, okay. Okay, so now that brings us to the documents which were filed today. Okay, this is document number 36, notice of appearance by Alex Spiro or Spiro. I really don't know. You know what's very interesting? I got him and Alexandra Shapiro mixed up at the beginning of this case, but they're two separate sort of like powerhouse type attorneys, criminal defense attorneys. Okay. This is his notice of appearance. So, please take notice, Alex Spiro of Quinn Emanuel. This is the law firm that was representing also Mr. Beast, if y'all were keeping up with that. And if Cam Nuggets is watching this, I know Cam Nuggets is going to start covering, I think, the Jay-Z stuff. So y'all go check him out if you forgot about him. He's still over there, still kicking. Okay. Hereby appears as counsel. Okay, so that's it. That's the whole filing. 36 is just, hey, here I am, Alex Spiro, the guy who represented Alec Baldwin, got him off in that Rust trial, the Pew Pew incident. Remember, just like this year, Alex Spiro was the lawyer. Am I remembering correctly? I think I am. Okay, so right after that, Pew Pew, very next filing, like Alex comes in like taking care of business. Proposed motion. Was it a motion? Hold on, 37. Notice of defendants, motion to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously. Notice. Okay, so this is just a notice. Okay, hold on. Notice, not proposed. Notice of motion. All right, let me pull that one up. This is document 37, another short little one pager. I guess technically it's two, but one of the pages is the signature page. It's very short. 37. This one was filed today. By Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro. This is the very next thing that was filed. Alex Spiro shows up. Hi, I'm here. Boom. Document 37, very next one. And here's something else. Here's notice. What is the notice of? The notice is of Sean Carter. So this is on the behalf of Jay-Z. It's giving notice. He is going to motion. He's going to file a motion. And the motion is going to be for what? To deny Jane Doe's request to be Jane Doe. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Spiro. I'm here for the case. And I want to give everybody, put you on notice. I'm about to file a document that's going to say, no, hell no, you're not going to be able to allow to be no Jane Doe. Okay, so that's basically where we are so far. That was document 37. Now we're going to go to 38. This is settle in. Get your popcorn and your other things, because this one is a pretty meaty, we'll say. Oh my God, y'all. They got okay, get your popcorn, get your drink. Let me take a sip. This is a 29-page document filed by Jay-Z. They had to be sitting on this. They had to be sitting on this, sitting on go, sitting on ready. They had to be. This is a 29-page document. I will let y'all know. It's 3:44 p.m. right now, and I do have a BJ Investigates coming out 5 o'clock. So I'm trying to like neatly finish this so that we can coast right into that. That's the goal. Okay, so this is document number 38. This is seemingly the most substantial and substantive, both one, that we've seen so far as I can tell. Okay. Now what is it? It's Jay-Z's motion. Okay. Motion for what? To deny what? He's motioning to deny the plaintiff, that's Jane Doe. This is his motion. Your Honor, please deny Jane Doe's request to go forward as Jane Doe. No, ma'am. Here's my motion. Okay, so then you get to, oh, girl, hold on. Here. You get to the table of contents. This is what the first page looks like. Defendant Sean Carter's motion to deny Jane Doe's request to proceed anonymously. Got it? Okay. Here's the table of contents. Background, introduction, background, procedural history, Legal standard argument. Okay, so what's the argument's going to be? The motion should be denied because it's required by the federal rules, and the alternative, the court should dismiss the complaint. Okay, so either or. Okay, so Alex Spiro coming out of the gate. This is Alec Baldwin's Rust trial lawyer, I think. He's saying, Your Honor, this is what y'all should get ready for to see. The motion should be denied. She should definitely have to give her name up. And if she don't, you should dismiss. Okay, so here comes the arguments for that. Introduction. 4 months. An extortionate campaign has been targeting this named defendant under cover of darkness. Okay, Alex. This named defendant is Jay-Z. That campaign was cynical and calculated to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money. Okay, so there's this cynical campaign operating under cover of darkness, calculated for the purpose of forcing payment out of Jay-Z in an exorbitant sum of money. He would have to pay millions of dollars, irrespective of the truth, or else. When Jay-Z refused to pay and instead took measures to establish his innocence, this unnamed plaintiff and her self-promoting counsel, that's Busby, whose name has been splashed across headlines and press conferences under auspices of representing her, when she went to extraordinary lengths to shut down fair defense. But Busby's efforts failed. Now at last, the false, unfounded allegations that underlie this campaign of extortion are having judicial light shined on them. Except that this plaintiff, this Jane Doe, is bringing them as a doe who would continue to hide under cover of darkness. Because that tactic is inconsistent with a genuine effort to determine the truth or falsity of these allegations, as opposed to an effort to procure a quick extortionate settlement. Whoever's writing this, whoever's drafting these, this is my legal writing note for y'all. You got to cut these down. You got to get to the point faster. It's too wordy. It's too Columbia. It's a little bit too Columbia, if you know what I mean. It's a little bit too much of that. You need a little Yale. You need a little pen in here. Okay. Thank you. As a new pen. Because this, okay, so basically, I'll translate for y'all, because look, this long ass sentence, poor things. I mean, it's good. Queen Emanuel is one of the best in the business, really, truly. That's why I think they'll appreciate my writing notes. But what they're saying is this tactic to keep going forward as a Jane Doe, that's inconsistent with any genuine effort to actually get to true or false. So that's bad faith, basically. That's how they could have reworded that. As opposed to an effort to procure a quick extortionate settlement. So this is them basically kind of saying like, yeah, in contrast, Your Honor, to the our theory of the case, which is that this is extortion. Jay-Z is respectfully seeking either dismissal of the allegations or disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Fair is fair. Okay, this is going to be hard to overcome. I got to say it. They're going to have to come up with proof. I'm going to tell you what's going to have to happen here. In my opinion, I'm predicting the future. I'm psychic, I guess, today. No, I'm a fake physic. Fake physics alert. Okay, I'm a fake physic right now. And in my fake physic opinion, I'm saying that because that's Jay-Z and his rabid, manic tweet last night. He spelled psychic like physic, because he was just like going too fast. Okay, so this is going to be difficult to overcome for Jane Doe. She's going to have to show more than just other people are scared. A reasonable person would be scared. She's going to have to show proof, specifically that Jay-Z As to each defendant, I think she's going to have to show proof. Maybe not. I don't really know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's not consistent with justice, fairness, or the rules. This is Alex Spiro. This is Jay-Z's attorney. Powerhouse. Y'all were calling him Zaddy earlier this year, if I recall correctly. He is saying now it is not consistent with justice, fairness, or the rules governing federal proceedings. For the plaintiff, that's Jane Doe, and her counsel, Busby, to smear the defendant's good name in ways that are calculated to feed media coverage and thus inflict maximum public relations damage, while the core fact of the plaintiff's identity, revelation of which stands to discredit her entire case. Okay, so Alex Spiro is saying, Your Honor, her identity is a central component and issue in this case. It is not tangential. Yeah. It is not beside the point. It is the point, because we are going to need her identity in order to start our smear campaign against her credibility in court. That's what they're arguing here. Her identity remains wholly hidden from view, whereas the Jane Doe status is reserved for truly extraordinary cases and predicated upon extraordinary justification. Here, a multitude of powerful considerations cut precisely the opposite direction, as other judges of this court have ruled in cases involving the same circumstances. Okay. He goes on. Defendant Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, has built an impeccable reputation. He has never been accused of, let alone engaged in, any sexual misconduct. Wait a second. I need to check if that is true. Hold on. Somebody timestamp this for me, because I don't think this is actually a true statement, but I don't want to slow down the whole everything here just for the purposes of checking that. Okay. Until today, so this was filed today, December 9th, the day we're reading this. Until today, when plaintiff in an amended complaint, so it must have been written yesterday, filed by Busby, has levied baseless allegations and accused Jay-Z of despicable acts while hiding behind the pseudonym Jane Doe. These claims are not about justice for victims, Alex says, nor are they about giving victims of sexual violence a voice. Instead, they are merely the next chapter in attorney Busby's sprawling extortion saga. Ooh, fighting words. Alex Spiro is out here saying that Tony Busby is doing extortion, and it is a sprawling extortion saga at that. A saga whose aim is base and measured in dollars. I think it's supposed to say based. Not very Columbia of y'all, whoever proofread. Busby has devoted himself to the business of extracting large settlements. Okay, this is not the first time we've heard this. We've heard Alex made this same, or some attorney made this same allegation toward Busby in the lawsuit against Busby. Remember, Jay-Z filed a John Doe against Busby, but now we know it was him. Spiro says Busby has devoted himself to the business of extracting large settlements from celebrities, high net worth individuals, and businesses with any public ties to Sean Combs, P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. Following his indictment for S crimes in September, references to justice or sunlight serve only as window dressing. Make no mistake, this case is about retaliating against the rare target who would not pay. Again, this is Alex Spiro saying this. Attorney Busby has a history of targeting celebrities by making false allegations of misconduct. And Jay-Z sought to expose Busby's latest extortion scheme in California lawsuit. And we did read that one, filed November 18th, 2024. This one is at Exhibit 1. They're calling it the extortion complaint. So let's do a little highlight. At the time, Attorney Busby knew who Jay-Z was, even as Jay-Z remained in the dark, as he does today, about the identity of Mr. Busby's Jane Doe client. Plaintiff, that's Jane Doe, and Attorney Busby now bring these claims against Jay-Z in a clear act of retaliation, as the complaint admits on its face. So Alex Spiro is saying, Your Honor, Tony Busby and Jane Doe are saying to your face, the reason that they're doing this at all is because Jay-Z wouldn't do the mediation. While Jay-Z was, quote, being extorted, he could not speak out without revealing his identity and the heinous allegations made against him, which are patently false. That would be playing into Attorney Busby's game and the leverage he is wielding. Okay, so this is Alex Spiro is saying they had us in a catch-22 over here, Your Honor. Jay-Z couldn't speak out about the lies, the so-called alleged lies. And he was all the while, he feels being extorted. The upshot would be highly sensational and equally false allegations being broadcast across social media, the press, thereby maximizing the pressure exerted against extortion targets to satisfy his monetary demand. Okay. Again, we're getting a little bit too lengthy with these sentences, y'all. We need to cut them to be a little bit punchier. Okay. The upshot would be highly sensational and false allegations being broadcast across social media and the press, which would in turn maximize the pressure exerted against these targets of the so-called alleged extortion. This would ultimately allow them to satisfy these monetary demands, and it would all happen despite whether or not it was actually true. Because Jay-Z called upon the courts rather than paying. Okay, so because Jay-Z sued instead of coughing up the dough, he has now been sued. So be it. One way or another, Mr. Carter is entitled, that's Jay-Z, and positioned to exonerate himself through the legal process. In this case, he will vigorously defend himself and expose the truth that the allegations in the complaint are false. But the disclosure of this plaintiff's identity is among the most essential, basic tools that can and should enable Jay-Z to vindicate himself. Okay, so this is going to be very difficult to overcome. Jay-Z should not have to defend himself in the brightest of spotlights against an accuser who hides in complete darkness. Oh, I like that little simile you did there. While leveling allegations that describe the purported acts occurring in the plain sight of witnesses who could refute the plaintiff's claims if only her identity was revealed. Oh, okay. So this is two separate thoughts they cram into one sentence. They're saying there's another issue going on here, and that's the fact that they're all going to be doing all this stuff, while the fact that she's a Jane Doe at all is putting the witnesses in a position where they can't say if they were there or not either. The witnesses can't say, oh yeah, I saw, Jay-Z in the dining room with the candlestick and Mr. Mustard because Mr. Mustard is going by Jane Doe or whatever, right? In the American judicial system, lawsuits are public by their nature and their design. That is true. This is a true statement. I mean, I'm not trying to be like on the Jay-Z cheerleader brigade, but I mean, true's true. In the American judicial system, lawsuits are public by their nature and their design. The public is meant to know the facts involved and the identities of the parties. It's true. It's true. Indeed, federal law requires that all parties litigate using their true names. Parties are exempted from this mandate. Only in exceptional cases where, for instance, allowing the party to proceed anonymously will protect him or her from physical violence, deportation, imprisonment, or harassment. Okay, so these are the exceptional circumstances that you're allowed to do that. Here, plaintiff has chosen to sue Mr. Carter anonymously using the pseudonym Jane Doe, yet there it is. Remember what I told y'all what the prediction was going to be? There's going to have to be facts. Spiro is saying this plaintiff has not alleged any facts that would allow her to sidestep the federal requirement that all parties have to litigate using their true names. Indeed, her allegations exhibit none of the special circumstances, right? Because she doesn't say like one night Jay-Z specifically told me that if I told anyone XYZ or something, it's going to have to be specific. And this isn't my rules. I'm just telling y'all how it works. Okay. I'm not saying I agree or don't agree with those rules. I'm just telling you what they are. Spiro says, notably, the plaintiff has not claimed severe harassment, threats of violence, or any ongoing interaction with Jay-Z, right? She hasn't claimed any severe harassment, any threats from Jay-Z, any ongoing interaction with Jay-Z beyond communications through her attorney. She has not even submitted an affidavit alleging these special circumstances. She relies solely on a self-serving declaration from attorney Busby. Remember we read that one? Where Busby was like, oh, there was a whole bunch of people at my law firm who said they were scared. And they probably are. I mean, I don't doubt it. Attorney Busby's affidavit does not indicate how an attorney from Texas, what? Alex Spiro is coming through shady Quinn Emanuel. Attorney Busby's affidavit does not indicate how an attorney from Texas is competent to testify as to the mental state of a plaintiff, let alone how he has personal knowledge of what happened to her in New York to supposedly cause that mental state. The declaration does little more than parrot Busby's own motivations and a legal standard. That is, it does not provide any actual facts. This is Spiro's argument. This is Jay-Z's argument. That's all cute and good, Busby. Where's your actual facts about specific circumstances between this Jane Doe and Sean Carter? That's what they're asking for. That's what Spiro wants. That's what Jay-Z wants. Suffice it to say, Alex Spiro goes on to say, that attorney proffered innuendo and generic accusations do not suffice to justify. It's too many suffices in one sentence, y'all. Come on. They don't justify why Jay-Z and the American public should be denied access to plaintiff's identity in this highly public litigation. I mean, this is kind of true, especially considering like the news is reporting on this. If this was like something the news wasn't highly reporting, it was good breaking news. I think Andy Popcorn Planet, shout out to him. He jumped right on the story. Within 12 hours, I think it had 96,000 views. So it's like highly public. So I'm not saying Jane Doe has to be revealed. I'm saying that is the presumption that legally she and Busby will have to argue to overcome. Okay. Spiro goes on to say, if anything, this case presents an extraordinary need to follow the ordinary rules of litigation and have both parties proceed under their actual names. Attorney Busby has taken for months to traditional and social media to describe how he planned to target celebrities in connection with these allegations. And he has now issued multiple social media posts about this action. Traditional media sources have somehow been reporting, with Busby's express endorsement on social media, that Mr. Carter, Jay-Z, is the target of the allegations. Okay, so they're letting the judge know. Media sources have been reporting on the Busby Jay-Z allegation, okay? And Busby has been on Twitter and on social media endorsing this type of reporting. So what Alex Spiro is arguing is these people are availing themselves very highly publicly. They're going out here, they're making social media posts. They're, doing all of this stuff with the public to the public. And so for that reason, that who's suing should be public. That's the argument here. Thus, The plaintiff, that's Jane Doe, through her counsel, that's her lawyer, that's Busby, has acted quite unlike a party who wants to minimize the amount of public attention on this matter. I mean, look, it's going to be hard to overcome that one. Sorry, it is. I mean, it is. The plaintiff, through her lawyer, who's been all over up and down social media talking about this publicly, has not acted like a party who wants to minimize public attention on the case. Instead, Busby has attempted to leverage public scrutiny to taint a potential jury pool, and to put pressure on Jay-Z to settle this meritless case. This is still reading from document 38. In those circumstances, Alex Spiro says, it would be extraordinarily unfair if the plaintiff, that's Jane Doe, could continue to hide beyond the shield of anonymity while leveraging public interest in this case, strategically to pressure the defendant. So they're saying this would be unfair. I mean, literally, they could have said that in 9 words. Furthermore, the allegations here describe serious criminal violations. Okay, so this is another argument they're making. Also, Your Honor, on top of all of that, we talking about they basically accusing him of crimes. It is fundamental in the American legal tradition that a person accused of such actions has the right, so Jay-Z in this case, has the right to know the identity of the accuser. It is fundamental in jurisprudence when you are accused of a crime to know the identity of your accuser. I think it might be the 6th Amendment. I do think that is true. And confront that person in open court. Moreover, the amended complaint itself makes clear what this is all about. Okay, so this is what Jay-Z is arguing. This is what it's really all about. Not justice. No, not justice. But a quick and large settlement against a celebrity. That's what this is all about. That's Jay-Z's argument through his lawyer. The amended complaint on its face alleges that Busby chose to sue Jay-Z because he fought back against Busby's extortion tactics. As Busby subsequently tweeted, so now they're going to be citing Busby's tweets. Jay-Z's conduct in defending himself, quote, has had the opposite impact. Because in Busby's words, plaintiff is emboldened. Oh, okay. So the Jane Doe we're talking about here, she is emboldened by Jay-Z's conduct. And although the complaint, Alex Spiro goes on to say, alleges that another celebrity, so-called Celebrity B, so we're mentioning Celebrity B again, was also involved in the alleged actions, it does not reveal her identity. Why not? Okay. Why doesn't it reveal her identity? We're learning from Alex Spiro right now, at least his position, representing Jay-Z's position. The reason Celebrity B has not been yet revealed her identity is, quote, no doubt because Busby seeks to leverage his public allegations against Jay-Z to extract a settlement from her. Whoo, but that doesn't really tell me who it is. None of this is consistent with genuine effort to seek justice and truth. Okay, he goes on to say, this court should not allow the strategic abuse of the judicial system to continue. So they're saying that Jane Doe and Busby are strategically abusing the legal system. Jay-Z deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him. Okay, so this is going to be 2 separate considerations, okay? The judge is going to have to decide 2 things. Number 1, does Jay-Z get to know? I guess 3. Does Jay-Z get to know who's suing him? Does Diddy get to know who's suing him? I don't know. Maybe Diddy already knows. But the judge also gets to decide and determine separately from that issue whether we get to know who is suing Jay-Z and Diddy. Jay-Z deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him in sensationalized publicity hunting fashion of criminal conduct. demanding massive financial compensation and tarnishing a reputation earned over decades. This court has recognized the nearly identical claims brought by other plaintiffs represented by Attorney Busby do not meet the criteria to proceed anonymously. And this is true. This is going to be another difficult uphill battle. However, I think it's going to end up being very important that this particular alleged victim was 13 years old at the time. That's my prediction. The Jane Doe plaintiff, no, sorry. Busby has lost on this issue in the Southern District of New York already. He's lost on this issue. Courts have already made the Jane Doe appellants, plaintiffs, some of Attorney Busby's clients who are going forward as Jane Doe, John Doe, have already been ordered in the Southern District of New York in these courts to say who they are. So that is what Alex Spiro is pointing out here. The court has recognized the nearly identical claims brought by other plaintiffs represented by Attorney Busby do not meet the criteria to proceed anonymously. However, this is the first one against Jay-Z. Here, the balance of the equities afford all the more reason why this plaintiff, this Jane Doe, should be proceeding under her true name. Okay. So then they give a little background and they say, in an amended complaint filed yesterday, Jane Doe sued Jay-Z anonymously under the name Jane Doe without filing her own affidavit supporting her request for anonymity. So she didn't file an affidavit. She didn't file a declaration. She relied on her attorney, Busby. He did one instead. The declaration effectively parrots those Attorney Busby has filed in other cases, alleging claims of, so okay, it's the same claim. It's the same lawsuit, boilerplate lawsuit is what Spiro is saying. Now, again, y'all, just because I'm reading it doesn't mean I'm agreeing. I'm just telling you what their side is. More importantly, this declaration Busby's declaration makes no specific reference to special circumstances unique to plaintiff's case. So this is something required by law, okay? It's required by law, by statute. You have to plead special circumstances. But Alex Spiro says that Busby and Jane Doe do not do that. Instead, it only makes broad and generalized assertions about Busby's other clients. In at least two cases, I'm supposed to say cases, they put cased. In at least two cased filed by Busby with this declaration, other courts in this district have already denied his motions to proceed anonymously for failure to meet the burden to show. Okay, so it's already been denied already in other ways. But I don't know. Alex should have, I think, picked a side because, like, literally right now he's arguing that, like, what happened in those other cases can't apply here or whatever. But then it's like, oh, wait, but it should apply here. Like, other victims saying something isn't good enough, but other victims doing something is good enough. That doesn't make sense. He should have picked a side. Those cases concern Combs, who is under indictment and detained following a raft of criminal and civil allegations. But plaintiff, this Jane Doe, has now sought to sully the reputation of Jay-Z. So now they're bringing Jay-Z into this, Alex Spiro says. He has never been accused of misconduct in his 37 adult years. Oh, so he must have did something when he was 17 or something. Plaintiff, that's Jane Doe, has not come close to meeting her burden here. And the balance of the equities is that she has to litigate under her true name. She has to say her name. There is every indication that this lawsuit is not truly about plaintiff, but actually is about Attorney Busby's larger unsavory agenda. Despite Jane Doe's request to proceed anonymously, plaintiff's counsel, that's Busby, is doing everything to draw widespread attention to her. The same day that the amended complaint was filed naming Jay-Z, Attorney Busby posted on Instagram. Snitching about the Instagram posts and Twitter. prominently featuring himself addressing the amended complaint and making clear this is not about his clients, but about his personal spat with Jay-Z. And here's the 2 posts. We read them on the live last night. Oh my God, that does not look like him at all. I would not have recognized that's him. What's more, Attorney Busby has made numerous social media posts and statements to the media regarding his representation of individuals with allegations against Sean Combs, including that he would target other unnamed celebrities. These statements, Alex Spiro is saying, this is Jay-Z's lawyer saying this stuff. These statements began a couple weeks after Diddy's indictment and continued after Jane Doe, through her attorney, Busby, sent Jay-Z unfounded, oh, that was country girl, unfounded demand letters in November 2024, falsely accusing him of rape. Oh, R word. Okay. So these demand letters started in, we knew this, November 18th, I think it was, 2024. The baseless claims, unsupported by evidence, were nothing more than a calculated effort to strong-arm Jay-Z into submission. When Jay-Z proved unwilling to pay, Busby escalated his tactics and his scheme even further, threatening to conjure additional false accusations and manufacturing a parade of fictitious additional victims to emerge and further damage Mr. Carter's reputation. Oh, threatening to conjure additional false allegations. Oh, right. This is whenever, apparently in Busby's demand letter, he writes something like, in my experience litigating these type of cases, I've found that usually whenever somebody's did this to one person in the past, they did it to many other people too, or something like that. So I think that's what's supposed to be being alleged right here. Threatening to conjure additional false accusations, manufacturing a parade of fictitious additional victims. This is I find that they usually did it before and again. To coerce Jay-Z into compliance, Plaintiff, it's Jane Doe, and Busby imposed an arbitrary deadline in their extortion demand letter, warning Jay-Z that they would take a different course if he did not agree to a confidential mediation to resolve this delicate and important matter. Without even waiting for the deadline provided by the demand letter to pass, Busby posted on social media that he was going to file a lawsuit naming Jay-Z, and he attached the extortionate demand letter to punish. Okay, so this all happened. This all happened because what they're saying is, after Jay-Z sued, there was still time on the clock, tick tock, but it was running, but there was still time on the clock for them to go to the mediation that the deadline was within or whatever. But Jay-Z filed his own lawsuit against Busby, but the deadline for what Busby had given on the Jane Doe mediation offer hadn't expired yet. That's what Alex Spiro is saying. And so because of that, Alex Spiro is taking issue. All along, Jay-Z refused to bow to attorney Busby's scheme, faced with a choice to either pay an exorbitant sum to silence plaintiff's wild, false allegations of SA, risking irreparable harm to his reputation, family, career, and livelihood, or face a barrage of baseless lawsuits and financial ruin. So he's telling you really right here all the reasons that he did not move forward with all of this settlement talk and all of that is because, no, I'm not doing that because want to know why? Because I was only left with these 2 options. So now I got to sue. Faced with the choice to either pay a bunch of money to silence this plaintiff, and he's saying that she's making wild, false allegations. He's saying risking irreparable harm to his reputation, his family, his career, his livelihood, or alternatively, he would face a barrage of baseless lawsuits. So he believes that if he were to move forward, somehow this would have resulted in him facing a barrage of lawsuits somehow. On November 18th this year, Jay-Z filed a complaint against Busby and his law firm for the extortionate conduct. In retaliation, Busby filed this amended complaint. They did so only followed a failed attempt by attorney Busby. This sentence didn't get revised. I don't know what it's supposed to say. To obtain a restraining order against Mr. Carter's counsel. Oh my God, y'all, please. Attorney Busby tried to get a restraining order against Alex Spiro personally. Or maybe it was Quinn Emanuel. What the hell? Look at the sentence. Look at the sentence. In retaliation, attorney Busby filed the amended complaint. They did so only followed a failed attempt by. I think it's supposed to be only followed by a failed attempt. Man, this is such an important disclosure here, right here, y'all. Please send it through another round of proofreading next time. Just one. So it looks like Busby was trying to get a restraining order against Jay-Z's lawyer. Notably, the amended complaint acknowledges that Jane Doe, through her lawyer, Tony Busby, is only bringing these claims against Jay-Z in retaliation for his failure to respond to her demand to go to mediation. Okay, these tactics are designed to silence the other extortion victims who like Jay-Z. So Jay-Z is calling every person. Okay, this is a wild. Okay. So now every single person who any one of Tony Busby's clients these people are alleging to be victims of Diddy, and at least one of them is alleging to be a victim of Jay-Z. Anybody over there in that whole bucket is an extortion victim now. Anyone they blame, anyone getting sued by them, anybody they accuse is an extortion victim. See how fast the victims got reversed into being the ones that are actually making Jay-Z into the victim? That was quick. Whoa. Okay. These tactics are designed to silence people like Jay-Z, which they're referring to as extortion victims. Other extortion victims, girl. Please, Lord have mercy. They've been targeted by attorney Busby, not based on their perceived culpability, but the depth of their pockets. Attorney Busby's tactics send a clear message. Any individual who resists extortion will face public retaliation. Okay, I do kind of think that Busby should just file lawsuits. You know, why is he sending all these, if you don't pay, we're going to sue letters? You know, like, actually, now that I really think about it, like, Busby, says that it's because he thinks it's better because then, the whole point is he doesn't want to make the alleged victims' names public. So if they can settle it in the back end, the victims feel like they got justice and, whatever. But it's kind of like, I don't know. So what, they just want money? What do they want? I don't know. I'm not in touch with any victims. I don't need to be. I'm just a member of the public like y'all. Okay. The Busby tactics send a clear message. An individual who resists extortion will face public retaliation through highly publicized lawsuits. This strategy is designed to silence other victims of attorney Busby's extortion. So this is like P. Diddy would be a victim. Oh my God, please. They're pulling out all the stops. They have really done a Darvo on us. Needless to say, this proceeding should not be driven by attorney Busby's agenda or his interests. It's about finding the facts, applying the law, and fairly adjudicating what is the actual truth. Okay, that's true. Mr. Carter is now entitled to defend himself against these allegations with the benefit of all the protections and mechanisms available to defendants. To be sure, attorney Busby's game has been to prevent Jay-Z from defending himself while punching below the belt. Now, this is telling, y'all. This is telling. The game has been to prevent Mr. Carter from defending himself that means that they are going to rely heavily on knowing who this Jane Doe is to defend themselves. Does that mean sending investigators? Does that mean oppositional research? Does that mean, I don't know. It's definitely going to depend on discrediting her. Definitely. They're definitely telling us that. The credibility will matter. Today, Busby's game is at an end, and Mr. Carter's defense has begun, starting with plaintiff's unmasking. Dum dum. Okay. So here's the procedural history. On November 6th, so last month, like almost exactly a month ago, before Jay-Z was named, okay, the court provisionally granted the plaintiff's motion to proceed under a pseudonym in this case. And we did discuss that. Remember, I told you I was like, oh, I'm going to pull it up. And then I was like, no, I won't. That was document number 28. Okay. At the time, the only named individuals were Diddy. I brought that up, right? Circumstances have changed because now there's Jay-Z and Diddy. It's the same plaintiff suing him. Now, Mr. Combs, he had been at the time indicted already. And he had a flood of allegations levied at him by myriad plaintiffs at the same time. In that order, the court clarified, remember we talked about this, at the time it was entered, the balance of these interests may shift as this matter proceeds, and defendants, that's Jay-Z, deserve to be heard on this issue. On December 8th, that was just yesterday, plaintiff's counsel filed an amended complaint. We did read that last night on live, and that was document number 29. Now, in this document, Jay-Z was named, quote, y'all, this is a quote, okay, quote, an upstanding public figure who has never been accused of anything like this in his life. This isn't Alex, please. He has been, but these accusations have been dismissed as frivolous. By plaintiff's own admission, so by Jane Doe's own admission, according to Alex Spiro, Jay-Z was named because he refused to pay up. And he's calling it an extortion demand. Busby knows that he cannot continue to proceed with these lawsuits anonymously. Indeed, another judge in this very courthouse, considering precisely the same circumstances. Now, this is not particularly accurate, right? Because Alex is saying precisely the same circumstances, but this was a minor, and that is going to become important, I really think. Okay. But I do think it still is a strong argument that Alex makes. Another judge in this very courthouse, considering exactly the same circumstances, presented by the plaintiff here, represented by the plaintiff here. Oh, sorry, excuse me. No, the same circumstances that this plaintiff, this Jane Doe, is presenting. So similar circumstances. He's saying precisely the same, but I wonder if she was 13. Oh, this is someone, McCrary. So someone's last name has been exposed. It's called McCrary. Jay-Z now brings this motion because circumstances have changed. Okay. So, all right. So long story short, Your Honor, you left the door open. Remember, you left the door open? Okay, hi, I'm walking through it right now because the circumstances have changed. What the amended complaint put at issue no longer reflects the interests of the plaintiff. It is now a vehicle serving the singular agenda of Tony Busby. So they're really throwing Tony Busby under the bus. Like, Jay-Z really hates this Tony Busby guy. Lest there be any doubt, one need only look. Y'all have got to get a millennial at the least on this. Get a Gen Z, please. We need a Gen Z filing these. They're not strongly worded documents. It's not Quinn Emanuel level. Y'all have got to get punchier. Lest there be any doubt, one need only look to the social media post to Attorney Busby. Oh, that Attorney Busby made concurrent with this filing. This is so funny. You know how whenever you like file a bunch of stuff together, like a motion and a declaration and a proposed order and all that, they'll say filed concurrently herewith, like you filing it all at the same time with the court. Alex Spiro is saying he posted the social media post concurrently with this filing as if it was part of the filings. I know y'all aren't gonna think that's funny, but I kind of did. Features no image or symbolism related to any purported victim of SA. It features only attorney Busby himself. Plaintiff's amended complaint should be dismissed, and the motion to proceed anonymously should be denied as moot. This is the argument from J.Z. In the alternative, the court should require plaintiff to identify herself. Okay, so alternatively, Your Honor, if you don't want to dismiss it, okay, fine. But she's got to say her name. All right. Reason being the federal rules of civil procedure. District court can only do this in very specific, highly extreme circumstances. Okay, these are some of them. These are some of the issues that the court's got to take into consideration. Whether the matters involved are highly sensitive and personal, whether the plaintiff being identified poses a risk of retaliation, physical or mental harm, whether identification presents other harms and the likely severity of those harms, including whether the injury litigated against would be incurred as a result of the disclosure, whether the plaintiff is a particularly vulnerable person to the possible harms of disclosure, right? So these are the things the court has to consider. Non-exhaustive. Plaintiff's motion, Jane Doe's motion, should be denied in full. Her identity should be disclosed. The federal rules require it. Okay, so he says Jay-Z vehemently denies the allegations. He has no idea who plaintiff is, which I think is true, or who she possibly could be. That's probably driving them crazy, y'all. He has no idea who the plaintiff is. No idea who could even possibly be. You know, they've been racking their brain. And thus has had no contact with her for the approximately 20 years since the incident. Well, it would be like 25 years. It would be like a long time, right? It was like 2000, right? This is kind of a sloppy filing for Quinn Emanuel. Like, they're usually like very on top of, this is odd. Okay. Mr. Carter, that's Jay-Z, is a well-regarded public figure represented by competent counsel who, in contrast, y'all, Jay-Z is a well-regarded public figure represented by competent counsel. Okay, that's Alex Spiro. And he writes about himself here, who, in contrast to Tony Busby, we intend to litigate this case through the court system rather than social media. In any event, Busby has not identified any threat of physical harm to the plaintiff from anyone. Jane Doe's lawyer, that's Tony Busby, stresses that other alleged victims have stated that Mr. Combs made threats of violence against them. But we're not talking about Jay-Z. She didn't make any allegation that he ever threatened to harm her, nor could he, as he has no idea who she is. Plaintiff, so Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Busby, asserts without offering any evidence that plaintiff would certainly experience mental harm if she was forced to reveal her identity publicly. But of course, Tony Busby is not a psychiatrist, right? It's not sufficient for him to put forth. Look, in this context, public humiliation isn't enough. It's also not enough for him to put forth a, quote, generalized argument revealing the identity of a victim of SA. It would further, that would not further victimize her. That's not enough of an argument. Accepting such an argument would be to hold that nearly any plaintiff alleging SA could proceed anonymously. Okay, so this has already been decided, apparently. That's what they're trying to cite here, some case law that says so at least. It says courts require direct evidence linking disclosure of the plaintiff's names to a specific injury. Okay. One court in this circus, One court in this circuit allowed a plaintiff to proceed anonymously, where she submitted evidence from a medical professional who predicted that. Okay, so from a medical professional, but Busby is not a medical professional, right? That's what they're going to say. Regardless of what types of direct evidence might support such a finding, it is well established that attorneys' conclusions and speculations about mental harm are not sufficient to move forward. Plaintiff's counsel, so Busby, has failed to provide any evidence, no statement from a mental health professional, no affidavit from plaintiff herself, so no declaration from the actual Jane Doe, nor any proof. This is going to be difficult to overcome. They're going to have to come up with some proof. It's going to have to be Jay-Z specific too. It can't just be Diddy. To support the bare claim that disclosing plaintiff's identity would harm her mental health, Tony Busby's unsupported assertions are not sufficient. Plaintiff has to offer up to the court more than just mere speculation to justify proceeding anonymously. While Mr. Carter is a public figure, this does not outweigh his and the public's right to the customary constitutionally embedded presumption of openness in the judicial proceedings. Okay, so there's a presumption of openness in judicial proceedings. And, just because somebody's a public figure doesn't mean that the person accusing them gets to be private. Plaintiff has chosen to bring this lawsuit, levying serious charges, and such she has put her credibility at issue. And this is citing case law. Moreover, her counsel has expended, this is Tony Busby, has expended considerable time and energy publicizing the case, dragging Jay-Z and countless other public figures into baseless litigation for his own financial gain. Indeed, when Jay-Z refused to succumb to these outrageous demands that he pay up, Attorney Busby immediately escalated. Within minutes of filing the amended complaint naming Jay-Z, he posted about it on social media, prominently featuring himself, weaponizing the judicial process to amplify his unfounded accusations. The motivation for naming Mr. Carter here could not be more clear. It has nothing to do with justice for victims. It's all about attorney Busby. As Jane Doe's lawyer, that's Busby, has repeatedly claimed, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Oh man. They walked right into that one, y'all. You know how Busby been saying sunlight is the best disinfectant and putting the sunlight on it and putting the sunlight on it? Here come Alex Spiro with the 2-punch. As Busby likes to repeatedly claim, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Jay-Z is entitled to investigate the plaintiff's background and challenge her allegations and her credibility in order to defend himself against these false allegations. Moreover, media outlets have a constitutional right to, media outlets have a constitutional right to publish stories about this case. That's true. And so do members of the public who are not media outlets, buddy boy. Members of the public like me and you. Well, not you. You're a lawyer on the case, but you know what I mean. Further, many individuals who have made serious allegations against Diddy have filed lawsuits in this district in their own names. We got Ventura, we got Lil Rod Jones, we got Adria English, we got Dawn Richard, we got Talia Graves, and then now the McCrary, who was a Jane Doe but was forced to proceed anonymous with her name. All these lawsuits also involve sensitive allegations that could expose the plaintiffs to scrutiny and embarrassment. Plaintiff, this Jane Doe here, Sue and Jay-Z, hasn't shown that she's entitled to this exceptional relief. Okay. So her age weighs against anonymity. So now she's 37 years old. She's not a minor anymore, is what Spiro is saying. So because she's not a minor anymore, she shouldn't be anonymous. Her status, private party weighs against anonymity. Courts are loath to grant a motion. Okay, so, I mean, I think that's probably, he's just going through his arguments. He's kind of like already said. Confidentiality of the plaintiff's identity to date. She's okay. So they're going through each of the factors that have to be considered. And the alternative, the court should dismiss the complaint under the federal rule of civil procedure 12B1. A complaint that fails to adhere to all the federal rules is subject to dismissal. In this case, it would be because of subject matter jurisdiction, because plaintiff lacked standing. If the plaintiff doesn't have standing to sue, he or she cannot sue. If plaintiff doesn't put her name on the pleading, it doesn't meet the standard. It's not fully done. It's kind of like when you're filing your taxes, you got to put your name on it. You have to put your name. It's a rule. And if you don't, then you can't even ascertain who the plaintiff is. And for that reason, it's got to be dismissed. Failure to comply with the 10A, also the rule 10A. The subject matter jurisdiction rule. The federal courts lack jurisdiction over unnamed parties because such cases are not properly commenced. Okay, so under rule 10A, also you got to put your name. Conclusion. Mr. Carter, that's Jay-Z, would request this court revisit that provisional ruling, ordering the provisional order permitting the plaintiff to proceed as Jane Doe. We would request that the court now require the plaintiff to refile the complaint with her true name. To the extent she fails to do so, Jay-Z would request the court then dismiss the complaint for failing to satisfy Rule 10A and for therefore failing to also establish subject matter jurisdiction, which is required pursuant to Rule 12B1. Okay, so that was document 38. Like I told y'all when we started it, a lengthy one. Let's see. Okay, we have 2 more documents we got to get through. Okay, oh my God. The next one is 271 pages long, but it's mostly exhibits. I think it's only like, it's 2 pages long, and then it has like 260 something pages of exhibits. Okay, this is document number 39. This one, declaration of Alex Spiro in support of defendant Sean Carter's motion. Okay, so this is a declaration. Okay, so what we just read was the memo. It was the legal arguments and the facts and everything to support Jay-Z's claims. But now we're going to get a declaration from Alex Spiro. Remember, we already got a declaration from Tony Busby. In that declaration, Tony Busby said everybody at the law firm is scared of Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. Didn't mention nothing about Sean Carter, Jay-Z. So now we got another declaration. This time it's coming from the other side. This time it's coming from Alex Spiro in support of making the Jane Doe have to say her name out loud and say it in the filings. He's a partner at Quinn Emanuel. Attached as Exhibit 1 is a copy of the civil complaint. This is the John Doe versus attorney John Doe versus attorney Tony Busby, which is actually Jay-Z suing Tony Busby. Okay, that's Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the opinion and order denying the motion to proceed under a pseudonym in that other Busby versus Diddy case that's already been, somebody's already been ordered to come forward with her name. So they attached the opinion there. This is in the same court, the Southern District of New York. Attached as Exhibit 3 is a copy of the opinion and order denying the motion to proceed under a pseudonym in a different case, also in the Southern District. Exhibit 4 is Tony Busby's Instagram post from yesterday. And Exhibit 5 is the Twitter post, also from yesterday. All right, that's Alex Spiro. Okay. Or Spiro. I don't know how to say his name. Okay, there's at least one more filing. Again, not too long. And this one is document number 40. I am going to go check the docket again because we've been on here a while and things could have happened. It happens fast out here. Okay. So this one is filed by the defendants. Okay, this is an amended notice of Jay-Z's motion. Okay, so Jay-Z motioned, and we already read, that was that long 29-page document we just now read. Jay-Z's motion to deny the request to proceed anonymously or to amended notice of defendant. Amended note. Okay, so he had done a notice before. This notice has been amended. Now, the question then becomes, does that mean he's going to amend also the memo to add more facts, more allegations, maybe a cross complaint? He may try to pull in his cross complaint against Tony Busby in this jurisdiction, or maybe they'll try to pull it in. Where'd they sue? In Texas? Let me look. I'm going to look at the docket right now and see if anything new has been filed. And I'm also going to look at the DIDDY criminal case to see if anything new has been filed, because something new has been filed senses are definitely tingling. Okay. What I'm looking right now up is this case. Looking up to see if Jay-Z, if anybody's filed anything else extra in this Jay-Z case. All right. It like timed me out. Yep. We got a new filing. Breaking news. We have a new filing, document number 41. It's a document that was filed today, again, by Jay-Z's attorneys. Look, I'll show you. Let me put a star. Diddy, Jay-Z sued Jane Doe. Okay. This is the docket. It had timed out. I had it up, but it like timed me out. Okay, here's the docket. See this new thing right here? Letter motion to expedite hearing addressed to the judge from Alex, filed on the behalf of Sean Carter. Okay, here's the document. Breaking. Jay-Z has just now, since the last time I checked, filed yet another letter, and this is a letter motion. We write on behalf of our client, Sean Carter, concerning the inflammatory allegations made against him in the recently filed amended complaint. Based on the meritless and frivolous accusations, Jay-Z filed a motion to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously or to dismiss the complaint. Okay, and we did just read that. Due to the highly sensitive nature of this matter and the intense media scrutiny it has generated, we respect. So what are they asking for from the court? They want to be heard on an expedited basis. For the avoidance of any doubt, Jay-Z is entirely innocent. This is a shakedown. This is Alex Spiro saying this. He is not mentioned, referenced, or implicated in any way in the criminal investigation of Mr. Combs. He is neither, this is Jay-Z here, he is neither a target nor a person of interest in that investigation. Adding to the urgency of this matter, attorney Tony Busby has orchestrated a months-long press campaign aimed at inflaming public opinion and escalating the events in real time on social media platforms. Okay, so on top of that, Your Honor, Tony Busby is out here acting crazy on social media. That's what Alex Spiro is basically saying here. Every day and in real time, Busby continues to amplify false narratives, exploiting the legal process to generate media attention and damage Jay-Z's reputation. This relentless campaign underscores the need for a fast-track hearing to address these issues promptly and prevent further harm. Plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously is both procedurally improper and unsupported by law. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 10A requires all parties be named in their pleadings, reflecting the bedrock principle of transparency in judicial proceedings. Plaintiff has failed to demonstrate, so Jane Doe has failed to demonstrate any compelling circumstances that would justify an extraordinary departure from this rule. The speculative and unsubstantiated claims of harm presented by Busby do not meet the stringent standards required by the Second Circuit and other federal courts to allow her to go forward as a Jane Doe. Furthermore, plaintiff's allegations, the Jane Doe's allegations, coupled with the conduct of her counsel, Tony Busby, suggest a deliberate attempt to leverage the judicial process to generate unwarranted media attention and to pressure Jay-Z into a settlement. This is a misuse of the legal system, and it undermines both the integrity of the legal system and Mr. Carter, Jay-Z's ability to defend himself effectively. It is critical that Jane Doe's identity be disclosed so that Jay-Z can investigate. Okay, so look, he is telling you exactly what he is going to do. Just know I roll with them goons. In case you start acting like you're going to sue me. Oh, that's not the words. Oh. And respond to the claims fully and fairly. We further note that that the timing of this filing coincides with ongoing media coverage of unrelated matters involving Diddy's criminal trial, in which Busby doesn't represent victims, underscoring the prejudicial and retaliatory nature of plaintiff's claims. I don't really understand I guess he's saying like Busby is trying to use the media stuff going on with Diddy to leverage the claims against Jay-Z. I don't know. It's not really clear here. The amended complaint appears designed not to seek justice, but rather to amplify unsubstantiated allegations and harm. Unsubstantiated allegations and harm Jay-Z's reputation. And this is all being done by attorney Tony Busby, according to Alex Spiro here in this letter I'm reading. Allowing plaintiff, Jane Doe, to proceed anonymously would deny Jay-Z the fundamental right to confront his accuser while simultaneously enabling Jane Doe and Busby to conduct a trial by media. Given these circumstances, we respectfully urge the court to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously and dismiss her complaint pursuant to Rule 12b-1. This matter is of the utmost importance, and we request an expedited hearing to address these significant procedural and substantive issues. So we're not talking about just little technicalities. We're talking about substantive problems as well. Expediting, because there's high risk of irreparable injury. We're available at the court's earliest convenience. Okay, y'all, so get ready, because I think we might be sitting here pretty soon watching some inner city press tweets about Jay-Z and the Jane Doe. It might be happening. Okay. So let me get to some of these super chats, because like I told y'all whenever I was in here, 5 o'clock, I have a premiere on BJ Investigates. So if other stuff has happened in Diddy's case, I may come back on live later, but I got a premiere on BJ Investigates coming in 7 minutes. So let me get to some of these super chats. Raw Pet Meals, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Love your content, girl. So informational and true and honest. It's nice to be here during the actual live. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Christopher, for the $1.99 super chat. Christopher Lewis, shout out to you. Thank you, Diamond Sword, for the $4.99 super chat. And Itty Bitty XO Kitty, thank you for being a member. Shout out to you for a month. Itty Bitty Kitty gifted a membership. I love when y'all do those membership gifts. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to you. And Blue, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you. Okay, so let me look at the Diddy docket real quick and see also what the video is about. The BJ Investigates. Y'all should go to watch it, because it is about this incident where the My Chemical Romance guy, he's no longer with us on this earth. He became unalived, and last time he was heard from was November 4th, which was Diddy's birthday. But then also he had tweeted that Lou Taylor was his manager. Like, don't forget, I was a Lou Taylor client for 18 years. The Kardashians are this and that. I made a BJ Investigate on BJ Investigates. Okay. So, y'all make sure you go over there. I am going to the criminal case though right now. We do have another 5 minutes, and I want to see if there have been any updates to the criminal docket. I mean, y'all, it's been a slow day over there. If nothing has come by 4:55 p.m. Nothing. The most recent thing on Diddy's criminal docket is this document 104. It was filed 3 days ago. Nothing has been filed in this Diddy case, in the criminal case. Man, we had such a look at that. Remember, we were having like document after document being filed, like from 13th, 15th, 18, 18, 18, 18. And then it was like 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 22, 2, 25, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 26, 6, 27. And then there were some days off. And then the second, fourth, fifth, fifth, six, 6. And then there's, oh God, 3 6s. And then there's been nothing filed since then. Shout out to the mods in the chat. Shout out to Simply Monka. Shout out to Diamond Rainbow. Where's the members at? Shout out Beautiful Messy Ball. Kit Kat. Shout out to you. Jinx. Hello to you. Hello, Claire. Hello, Cece. Hello, Chris Blessing. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to Oklahoma Outlaw. Claire. Anonymous. Shout out to you. The cat's meow. Hello, hello, hello. Girl on the beach. Kit Kat. Simply Monica Live. Shout out to you. Tasha. A lot of the victims are rugged. So how do they know Jay-Z wasn't? I mean, listen, that's a good question. Yeah, and this is another good point. Coach Tally, that could get brought up. Jay-Z does not have one of those CNN type of videos rolling around. Again, LG, another good point that Jay-Z does not have the criminal record. Now, does that mean he hasn't done anything? No, but it does mean that he's not been adjudicated guilty, and we have to consider him to be presumed innocent because he doesn't have the same type of criminal rap sheet. Jay-Z been watching Sloan Bella at fake physics. Somebody got to tell Sloan Bella that Jay-Z called her a fake physic over there. So good. Haven't heard people talking about it. Can't wait to watch. Wait, what's MCR? Oh, My Chemical Romance. Yes. I'm doing the My Chemical Romance video. Yep. Oh, maybe Celebrity B isn't alive anymore. That would be interesting, Jinxed, because Alex Spiro is speculating in his public court documents that the reason that that person hasn't been named is because they trying to extort her for money. So it would be very interesting if that person was not even alive. It's hard to know. Be back for the premiere. Oh, yes, he does. Look back at 2020 case against Oh, there was a 2020 case against Def Jam. You talking about Charlene Latham? Because I did do one about that. There's a 3RD blipping. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Beyonce, her sister, and Jay-Z having a massive fight in the elevator, right? Jaguar has said things about him. Probation during that time. Surely not cast. You don't get blocked, do you? I don't know. Hello, that Aaron. Sometimes what do we got here? Thank you so much, Spitfire Wild, for gifting the 1 membership. That is so generous. Thanks so much. And on that note, let's head on over. If you don't do anything, you should just be redirected. So just stay where you are, and I'll see you in the chat at the My Chemical Romance Lou Taylor client dead at 44. After not having been heard from since P. Diddy's birthday video that's premiering right now on BJ Investigates. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, and neither is reading the public court docket. Girl, love you, mean it. Okay, bye.